So I guess I've pretty much decided that this is going to be a channel dedicated to just responding to other people, since I'm too lame to think of my own ideas. Anyway, this is a response to virtual Holocaust. Um, virtual Holocaust, you're somewhat of a smaller user, so maybe you'll actually see my response and maybe you'll have something to say. But I watched your video and I actually kind of agree with you a little bit on the subject of not giving a shit. And what I mean by that is I would actually take it a step further. You see, in this country where, well, in this world, I should say, where there's people dying all the time, there's horrible tragedies occurring all over the place. There's worse fates than death, I would say. You know, you could come out of a fire, 99% burned. Uh, all your limbs, had to be amputated because, of infection. And unfortunately, you're still alive, and there's no euthanasia in this country, so you can't be euthanized even if you wanted to. You know, so I think that there's actually worse fates than death. There's lots of tragedy in this world, lots of bad shit going down that no one wants to hear about. And the people who do want to hear about it, of course, they go watch the news, and the news tells them all the horrible things happening. But that's not the point. The point is how are you supposed to care about every single individual on the planet who is suffering? It's impossible. Well, it's not impossible, but you don't. First of all, you don't know any. You don't know the majority of people who are, in pain, dying, dead, killed, etc. So when you say something like, "Well, the people who died at 9/11," I personally, I feel bad for them, but I don't know them. I mean, it's really, I didn't even live in New York, ever, and not at the time of 9/11's occurrence. So, I mean, I was not associated with that event. The only thing that really ties us all into this thing that makes us feel really patriotic and whatnot is that it occurred on American soil. It was an attack on American people. And in a way, that's also true. I'm pretty sure that the terrorists who specifically targeted those buildings were not targeting the rich Americans. I'm pretty sure they were just trying to look for a symbol of American exceptionalism, and they wanted to take it down, which Trade Towers is a pretty good symbol, I suppose. Which is probably why they chose it. But, I mean, in this country, we feel bad for when we hear about bad things happening to people, but it doesn't impede you from continuing your day. Like, after you hear someone was killed, you go, oh, that's truly a tragedy. That's a shame. Well, anyway, I need to get back to work because I have a full-time job and I'm a student as well. Well, I'm not a full-time worker anymore. I'm a part-time student now, but I've got 2 part-time jobs and da-da-da-da. Anyway, that's not the point. The point is that when you hear about people you don't know, I mean, you feel bad, but how much can you care? You can't care a terrible much, because then if you have to care for one random person, you have to care for all the random persons, at least while not being hypocritical. So I don't think that there's, I mean, to be honest, true to, the way you actually are, you can't say that, oh, I deeply cared for everyone who died at 9/11. I doubt there's a single person who knew every single person in that building by name and had some kind of, friendship or at least an acquaintance with. I mean, maybe the service workers you were mentioning, they probably had the closest luck because they got to see all the rich people coming up every day. But still, it's a tragedy. We should know it as a tragedy. It's a sad thing that happened that shouldn't have happened. But beyond that, beyond remembering that it happened, we shouldn't. There's nothing else to read into it. There's nothing. We shouldn't feel depressed and sad unless, of course, your family, your family and one of the people who died in there, or several of the people who died in there, are associated with you through your family. Those are people you care about, people you actually deal with on a, semi-regular basis, I assume. That's when you should care. If you start caring about everyone else, well, there's quite a few people on this planet, and everyone's going to suffer at some point in time. You can't care for everyone.